Welcome back, this is Matt up in Washington. Today we're going to continue on upgrading our AR-15. One of the upgrades I feel that you have in any AR-15 needs to be the trigger. Just like any other part of the AR-15, triggers come in many different companies, many different types, many different shapes, but most of them are a one-piece drop-in, and it's very easy for those ones that are doing this at home. There's three things that you need to understand about a trigger before you drop $100 to $300 on an aftermarket trigger. The first one you understand is the pull weight. That's the amount of weight it's going to take to make that trigger release and fire the weapon. Most triggers come anywhere between 4, 3.5, I've seen them all the way down to 2 pounds. Which brings me to the second. The second thing is a stage. You have a single stage and a two-stage trigger. A single stage is a continuous pull all the way through until the weapon fires. A two-stage trigger is there's a stop and then a re-engagement before that weapon is fired. Depending on what you're doing, depends on what kind of stage trigger you're going to want. Third thing also is the shoe style. Most are curved, some are flat, and there's even companies out there that have an adjustable shoe that can be placed on the trigger. That helps redirect your finger every time that you're going to put it on the same spot in the same time every time, which obviously helps with accuracy and also consistency. Before you test any trigger, this is your hammer here. You always want to make sure you have a rubber block that's going to stop this from smacking. Otherwise, you have the tendency of smacking the magazine well with your lower and actually cracking or breaking the lower. So again, make sure that this rubber block is put in place, or there's some piece that you can get that's an adapter that goes in here as well. So as my stand has a rubber block for that. Now, single stage triggers, you can see I want you to focus in on this trigger here. Okay, there's very little to no take up, and then it breaks. That easy. Okay, that's how much it is. It's very little to no. Now, as you can see how much movement is actually in there. There's very little to no movement in there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reset the hammer, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you again how much break there actually is. So I'm pushing pressure, 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 pressure. Very little to none. I'll reset the hammer. And as you can see, you can hear the audible click, and then the pull. Reset the hammer. Audible reset, and then the pull. Again, very little to no. That's a single stage trigger. Very little to no take up, and it is a very short trigger to reset. Okay, here is your two-stage trigger. All right. Two-stage again. There is some take up, as you can see. That's the engagement right there. That's the first step. That's 2 pounds as advertised, and then just another 2 more pounds and it pops. Okay, again, I'm going to reset this trigger. I'm going to show you again the take. All right, that's your first stage, and then here's the second stage. Okay, I'm going to reset the trigger. You can hear an audible reset. You can let go. It doesn't move. Here's your first stage, engagement. Second stage, there's your pull, reset, audible. All right, now this trigger also, if you want to, you can pull straight through it, and it doesn't have any problems with firing off. So you can pull straight through. It takes a little training, a little understanding how to work this trigger. I use this trigger. This is my bench rifle out to 500 yards, so I use this two-stage trigger for more of a target trigger, like most people do. And again, that's that engagement. That's the first engagement. And then just to start squeeze, and there's your fire. Okay, and then here is the stock trigger. This is a stock AR-15 trigger. It's a creep, 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 pressure, 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 creep, and then snap. Very audible and loud click. Creep, 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 pop. The reset, very audible click, and then again here is, you can hear it, and then the pop, and then the reset. Okay, stock trigger pull. You're looking at just over 6 pounds. Second pull. Again, right at 6 pounds. And third pull. This one's at 5.5 pounds. So you're looking at a range between 5.5 pounds to 6 pounds. So averaging about 5 3/4 pounds to pull that stock trigger. Now for the 2-stage trigger, you're going to see the engagement. There's the wall, that's at 2 pounds. The overall pull is at 3 pounds. Do it again. First engagement. There's the wall. The release, 3 pounds. Here's an example of a trigger, drop-in trigger. This is all one-piece trigger. These is usually how the aftermarket triggers come. This one here is from CMD Triggers out of Texas. It's a very nice trigger. The only reason why I went with this trigger is because this is what my local gun shop had in stock at the time that I was looking for a upgraded trigger. So again, these are what they look like. Here's your 2 pin holes right here and right here. You drop it in, slide the pins. Usually there's a screw that holds it in place, and then you're good to go. So very simple, very easy to maintain. Just clean them off, wipe them down every once in a while, and you're good to go. Again, when doing any work on your AR-15 and you're not understanding what's going on, please call a gunsmith or anybody else that works in this area. That way that you can have it done correctly. If not, you have the ability to actually ruin the weapon or even hurt somebody else. So please be safe at home. It's a very simple thing that you can do, but if you have any questions, please push them down below or any comments. And again, as always, stay safe out there and keep shooting.